What's going on YouTube? My name is Zenna. Welcome back to another Delta Force video. Now that the playtest is over and we have roughly a month to go before the official PC launch of the game, I thought it would be a good time to sit down, have a discussion with all of you about my personal thoughts and opinions, the pros and cons about Delta Force. Now that I have 150 hours on the game, I feel like I have a good baseline and understanding of the game, and I have a giant list of things I just want to talk to you about. So let's get into it. I want to start the video off on a positive note. So we're going to be going over the things I think Delta Force has been doing well. And keep in mind, some of these topics that we discuss doesn't mean that I think they're 100%. There's always room for improvement. I think a good area to start our discussion is going to be accessibility and social settings. So Delta Force is free to play, it is cross-play, and I think this will be overall great for bringing in new players who are unfamiliar with the franchise. They want to try it out. The game's free. They can hop on. If they don't like it, they can uninstall. I think the world chat is great for community communication. However, many players use this to throw around racial slurs and other nonsense. So if they could kind of crack down on maybe like a language filter to remove some of that just nonsense conversation, that would be awesome, because really the world chat should be used to discuss, in-game weapons or patch notes or news or whatever. It should be a discussion about the game. It shouldn't be talking about politics, and it shouldn't be talking about just nonsense. I know Delta Force has addressed the anti-cheat system moving forward into the beta, but honestly, my time on the playtest and the demo, I didn't really run into any cheaters. Of course, you have to remove the AI from that aspect, because the AI were just beaming me through smoke. But if you take that away, I didn't seem to have any problems with cheaters. So I think that's a good start. I like that this game replicates the Battlefield formula, 32 on 32 with vehicles, which is something I prefer over COD or X-Defiant anyway. I like these larger scale battles. I enjoy the way that the squad system works, the way that the spawn system works, and although it could use improving, I think they have a nice foundation. I love the fact that Delta Force already has ranked on their mind. In both of the demos or playtests, they had a ranked playlist or ranked section for you to queue up in. So I really enjoy this. Me being a somewhat competitive player, I enjoy having the option to go for more of a casual public lobby, or take it a step further into more of a serious ranking system. So the ranking system is far from perfect. I would like to see them expand on it, go a little bit, give it a little bit more depth, but the fact that it's there, I think is great. Delta Force does a great job with class customization. It's in depth. It allows for weapons to be built multiple different ways. I know on my channel I do specific builds, and when the game fully launches, I'm gonna expand on that and do like silly builds with 5 lasers and a 100 round magazine or something stupid. Like, there's multiple different ways to approach a build, and I think that's fantastic and well executed on their part. Additionally, the weapon share codes has got to be one of the best parts about Delta Force, especially as a creator. It makes sharing weapon builds so much easier. I don't have to go through 20 different attachments with my chat or with my YouTube comment section. I can just copy and paste the code, slap it in there. You can try out the exact build, even down to the calibration. So weapon share codes is a fantastic addition to Delta Force. The firing range, again, another fantastic addition to the game. This kind of goes hand in hand with like class customization. This allows you to tweak your builds, and you can even use weapons you don't even have unlocked, or you don't have the max attachment levels. You can go into the firing range, you can build a fully maxed out weapon, try out attachments, try out calibrations. This is just a great way for new players to get their feet wet and figure out what kind of guns they like using. Another really cool thing that Delta Force did during its playtest is they actually did money tournaments. So I'm not sure if this is just a marketing strategy to try to bring in new players. I really hope it's something that they will continue to implement. But the fact that during a demo, a playtest, they are handing out thousands of dollars to players who are playing their game and trying to get maximum kills, maximum score, whatever the challenge was. I just think that's phenomenal. I mean, Battlefield could never. So the fact that there's money tournaments, I really hope this is not something that that kind of phases out. I would like to see them continue doing little cash prizes when the game fully launches. Shifting our focus over to Gunplay, to me, this game is a mixture of Modern Warfare 2019 and Battlefield 2042, which overall, in my 150 hours of playing, has been a pretty enjoyable experience. Is the gunplay perfect? No, it's far from it, but the kills actually feel satisfying and rewarding, and I enjoy, fragging out and trying to get as many kills as possible. Additionally, the weapons, the sound design won me over on this game instantly. The weapons have their own individual feel to them. It doesn't just feel like a plastic toy gun. It feels like an actual weapon, and that's something that I very much enjoy. Another positive for me is Delta Force presents an actual skill gap in the game. Weapon control, positioning, although the maps are pretty questionable, we'll get into that later. And also movement. These are all mechanics that players have to improve on and learn. It's not just a cookie cutter shooter. There's depth in the game, and I really enjoy that. I've seen a lot of comments and concerns about the laser beam gunplay. Most people want this nerfed, and I agree to some extent. My fear is that devs will make adjustments too extreme, and they will ruin the feel of the game, because right now the game feels pretty damn good. What if they adjust the damage ranges and make it take 25 shots to kill one guy? That's not going to be satisfying at all. They could potentially adjust the recoil to make it harder to beam people, but there's all these attachments for control and stability, so it's like, is that really going to actually help? And then there's the argument about adjusting the weapon's spread, and this is probably the best way that they can go about doing this, is to make weapons, you have to burst fire weapons, so that way you can't just full auto spray from 150 meters. But my fear is that they make the weapons feel like toy guns. I enjoy the design of the weapons right now, but I do agree that the laser beam gunplay is a bit of an issue. I'm not sure exactly how they can fix this, but let me know what you think. Kill streak call-ins, I think, are a wonderful idea. It gives me something to work towards every round. I would like to see some additional streaks added in. Obviously, nothing obnoxious, but there might be some cool stuff they can try. I don't know, air support, stealth bomber, an A10 Warthog, like flyover. You hear the Gatling gun going off out front. Maybe a deployable cover or support drops to resupply the team. I think going for more of a support type of call-in streak would be more beneficial than just dropping continuous bombs and these AI helicopters coming in. I think that would just be too much. So let's try to focus more on a support type of call-in. I think that'd be more beneficial for gameplay. Last thing I want to talk about is content. The amount of content seems sustainable, but my opinion on this could easily change once I have put enough time into the game. There's only so many guns and maps, and I don't want to get burnt out. What my hope is that they do a mastery challenge or a really in-depth service record. I want something to be able to grind and to showcase to other players, how much time I put into the game. I've got this cool medal that shows I've got 10,000 kills on a weapon, or this cool skin that shows I've got 10,000 kills on this operator or something. I don't know exactly, but I would like there to be an extensive list of challenges. And let me be clear, I don't want obnoxious, annoying challenges that are not fun to complete. Just give me kill challenges, give me sniper challenges or something. Just keep it simple, but I like it to be a little bit on the side of grindy, personally. Also, I've heard that there are 4 seasons of content that have already been completed for this game, which essentially means that they have a whole year of updates, like maps, weapons, etc., ready to go. So if that's the case, that's fantastic news. Hopefully the game just doesn't get stale. That about wraps up my pro side of the list. I'm sure I missed some things, so feel free to let me know what you really enjoy about Delta Force so far in the comments below. Let's go ahead and shift over to some of the things that I don't like, or some of the things that they really need to improve on. Starting off with performance. I would say just a general baseline across the board improvement in performance would make everyone happy. Netcode, getting shot around corners, desync, random bugs, server performance is a big one, and just overall game polish. Some quality of life things I would really like to see adjusted. Obviously, we got to talk about the AI. Just remove AI from Havoc Warfare. You can do a separate playlist for AI for people who just need to practice because they're maybe not as good and they just want to get more comfortable in the game. But that needs to be a separate playlist. Keep AI out of multiplayer lobbies. It's not enjoyable to die to AI, and it's not fun to kill AI. It just sucks the fun right out of the experience. So please, for the love of God, remove AI. No one enjoys getting fucking aimbotted through smoke. It just feels awful. I think overall there's a ton of quality of life changes that they could just make across the board. Funny enough, some of these changes would be things that 2042 added later on in its life cycle that just drastically improved playability. The HUD opacity slider, for example, like making it so that flag icons, player icons, maybe even vehicles or objectives, just random. The point here is to reduce clutter on my screen. So that way, when I'm shooting a target, I don't have to worry about being able to see the target because the objective's in the way. Another example of this would be icons to help identify classes or even the equipment that your squad is carrying. Again, the goal here is to make the game easier to navigate for new players or even experienced players. I find spawn beacons to be a bit on the buggy side. They give you no time to react on the ground if an enemy is near you. You spawn in, they see you before you see them, and you're dead. And additionally, it says that you're safe to spawn on a teammate, and then when you spawn in, you instantly die. So I definitely think there's some improvements that can be made across the board for the spawn system. This next one is a bit picky and probably doesn't apply to everyone. But let's say there's a group of quote unquote pro gamers that want to get together and do like custom lobbies or like scrims, or we want to host a tournament. There's no avenue for us to do that. So again, this could be just a demo like playtest thing. Maybe when the full game they'll have custom lobbies, but I think it'd be nice. And again, with Delta Force, handing out money for some of these challenges, having custom lobbies there available makes it way more official if you wanted to do big money tournaments and try to really draw in a new audience. I've seen many complaints about the social aspect of this game. So what I mean by that is like being able to join off of a friend that's already in a game, or being able to queue up with more than just 4 people in a party, even though there's only 4 people in a squad. But what if you've got 5 or 6 friends that you guys are all trying to be in the same lobby? And it's okay if you're in a different squad, but you can't queue up together. So I think, give us more options to play with more friends. Let us do two parties together, a total of 8 perhaps. I don't know the exact route that they can go for this, but you never want to deny people being able to play with their friends. So if they can expand on these social elements, I think that would only help their game. Although I don't mind the UI in Delta Force, I really think it could be simplified. Oftentimes I find myself clicking through like what seems like 17 different menus to try to, customize my weapon. I'm not sure how much they could break this down, but I think it would be potentially frustrating for newer players or older players having to click through all these different menus. It kind of gives me some like bad Call of Duty vibes because their menus are atrocious. So if they could simplify the UI in any way, that would be a welcome change. I think being able to edit your loadout in-game with your weapon or your vehicle, I think that is a must-have for the full release of this game. I just hate like loading into a game and let's say I want to use this particular weapon, but I've got the wrong sight on it. I want like a longer range scope just based off of the map that we're playing on. There's nothing I can do about it. I have to pick a totally different weapon. So I think being able to edit your loadout is just an absolute must that they need to have for the full release. Jumping into another hot topic for Delta Force has to be the movement. Overall, the movement is lacking serious fluidity and it just feels clunky and bad. My particular complaint has to deal with mantling and jumping. I find it to be absurd that your character can't mantle a little rock or a sandbag, and I'm just sitting there jumping on the battlefield and I look like a moron. So I don't know what they need to do here, but the mantling is awful. It's one of the worst mantling systems in any game I've ever played. Additionally, you just get stuck on things. You're just like walking around. You're a quote unquote super soldier and you're getting stuck on a fucking pebble on the ground. And then you end up dying. So it just feels bad and it needs to be smoother. Animations animations need to be so much quicker. The standing up, crouching, going prone, moving around side to side, all these animations need to be faster. Pulling out your equipment, swapping weapons, you know, all these different things. The revive animation needs to go away. I hate the revive animation. It gets me killed 9 times out of 10. Because even if I'm not playing medic, I try to help my squad mates. I try to be a team player. I want to pick up my guys. But if I'm just stuck in this stupid animation, then, like I said, I'm almost dead 90% of the time when I go to help my squad mate. Additionally, with the reviving, you cannot prone, which is just stupid. Let me be able to prone and save my squad mate. And then just kind of going back to the stances, just not being able to change stances smoothly. It just feels bad. Again, I don't know exactly what they can do here, but it needs to be smooth. It needs to be more smooth than it is. It feels clunky. It feels awful. And additionally, you cannot sprint while using gadgets. So, you know, I'm not trying to speed up the pace of the game here, but this is a FPS game in 2024, and the movement generally for newer games is going to be faster paced. And so you need to be able to match that faster paced movement while using your gadgets. So again, across the board, the game's lacking fluidity, and I think they could smooth it out. Moving over to some of the negative aspects of Gunplay, just right off the start, screen shake is obnoxious. I don't know if they can add like a slider to kind of lower the screen shake, but it's just obnoxious. There's an explosion next to you. You're shooting a guy. The explosion goes off. Your whole screen shakes. You end up dying. It's just frustrating. Additionally, the flinch is quite obnoxious. I'm not saying they need to remove flinch, and I'm not saying they need to cater the entire game around me and what I want, but it's a bit obnoxious. Another bad aspect of the Gunplay has to be head glitches. Now, you could say this kind of ties more in with map design, but the main cause of this is the fact that your bullets come out of your character's forehead and not the barrel of your gun or your chest area. So you can barely be peeking a wall or a box to where the enemy can't even see you, but you can beam them halfway across the map. To me, the head glitches in the game are a serious issue, and I hope that they take a look at this. Moving over to one of the least enjoyable aspects of Delta Force, in my opinion, that has to be the operators. I find the hero shooter genre is just cringe and overdone at this point. I just wish we could go back to the root of nameless soldiers with full cosmetic customization. I think the finals executes this perfectly. You can change your character's face, hair color, eyes, shirt, pants, upper body, weapon holsters, lower body, ammo pouches, watches, backpacks, shoes, and much more. The operators in the finals are essentially faceless soldiers. You, the player, are the soldier, and you can be whoever you want to be. I personally think this is a much better way to go about it and gives the developers unlimited monetary potential, but maybe y'all disagree. Let me know. Obviously, they've already designed the operators, so they're not going to change that, but I'm just tired of hero shooters. Unfortunately, the operators are in their game. They're not going anywhere, so I can't bark up that tree for too long. Across the board, all the abilities need to be nerfed as much as possible. I want to die to a player outplaying me with their weapon, not because they have some sonic paralysis and my screen is blurred, or they have some constant wall hacks from the freaking recon arrow, or, you know, whatever else I'm dying from the triple blaster on D-Wolf, or some stupid bomb that the other assault player had. Like, it's just obnoxious. I want to die to a player shooting me with their gun, or hell, I don't even have a problem with frag grenades, honestly. I don't care about frag grenades. Give everyone a frag grenade. I don't care. I'm just tired of dying to cheese. Like I said, like sonic paralysis, my screen's flashbanged, there's like a drone over here shooting me. It's just cheesy. I just don't enjoy it. Please nerf all the abilities into the ground. Thank you. I hate to say this, but the maps in Delta Force, at least the 2 that I've played on, they're not good. They're just not good. I think the map design is questionable at best. I definitely prefer Cracked over Ascension. Ascension is just, it's rough. Ascension is rough. I'm no map designer. I'm not saying I could do a better job, but head glitches everywhere, bad rotations, too much open space. it's just bad. I personally tend to lean more towards the attack and defend style game mode, but there's a ton of issues in this game mode that need to be ironed out. The spawns are atrocious, and the out of bounds lines, the boundaries for the offense and defense need to be completely reworked. You've got snipers and vehicles that are just sitting in these inaccessible areas so that the defense or offense, whatever side you're on, they can't access those areas. So it's a really bad design and gameplay loop, and they need to adjust the out of bounds lines. Kind of spinning off the whole map design conversation, it brings me up to my next point, which are there other modes that can be implemented successfully? Something like capture the flag, domination, perhaps even some smaller modes for solo players like a free-for-all. I believe they've talked about doing a team deathmatch, which I'm sure will be a welcome addition to the game. But maybe, you know, some of these maps that I don't like, maybe they would play better with some of these other modes. So, yeah. One of the last things I want to talk about is definitely vehicles. To me, the vehicles just don't feel that great. Granted, I'm not a vehicle player, so my opinion probably doesn't hold that much weight. Speaking of weight, the ground vehicles, they feel like toys. They don't have any real like weight or feel to them. They're sluggish and slow, and they just don't feel like they belong there. You're having a gunfight next to a vehicle on the battlefield, and the vehicles almost feel out of place. You know, it's like Call of Duty Ground War. The vehicles they're just there, you know, just to say, oh, we're playing Ground War. So I'm not sure the exact fix to this, but I don't enjoy vehicles. Additionally, there's just some like little things that can improve on. For example, like when you spawn into a vehicle, you should automatically be put into the available gunner seat if there is one, instead of just like a passenger seat. I think that's an easy change. I think the chopper feels clunky and unresponsive, and dare I say, impossible to fly. Just general vehicle balance is all over the place. For example, the machine gun on the tank, it does 49 damage to the body. That just seems a bit excessive to me. So I think there's just some general balancing that they can do across the board, and hopefully we'll see all of these changes implemented for the launch of the game. All right, that's going to wrap it up for me today. I hope that y'all enjoyed this little discussion, this walkthrough of this pros and cons about Delta Force. I'm confident that I left something off of my list, so please don't get too mad at me in the comment section. But I would love to have a discussion with you as well. Like if I brought up a point that you really agree with or disagree with, let's talk about it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. Thank you again so much for helping me reach 4,000 subs on the channel. It's incredible. Unfortunately, Delta Force is about a month away, so we're in a bit of a holding pattern right now. You can expect possibly some Battlefield 2042 content on the channel, but really I'm just going to have to wait on the Delta Force stuff. Obviously, once the game drops, I'm going to hit the ground running. We're going to do all kinds of weapon guides and tips and tricks and vehicles and just everything. As much Delta Force content as you can possibly watch, I'm going to have it here right here on the channel. So if that's something you're interested in, please consider subscribing to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. We are on the road to 5,000 subs. Yeah, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching the video. Y'all take it easy.
Cruise missiles inbound. Targets will be neutralized. Enemy is pushed off Delta 1. Proceed with caution. Cruise missiles inbound. Targets will be neutralized. You have defeated them into retreat. Excellent work. Mission accomplished.
Looks like you hit the chopper out of the sky, bro.